So the lecture is being recorded. Welcome. This lecture is about amortization of loans, including residential mortgages. The topics included in this chapter are very practical. Your parents, yourself, your friends, your relatives may have a house to pay the mortgage, or after you graduate, you have a nice job, you are planning to buy a house. So you need to calculate the monthly payment. What are the total interest you paid? Okay, etc. So this is chapter 14. The learning objectives include calculations. Okay, so this course is all about calculations. Amortization dates involving in simple annuities, and construct complete or partial amortization schedule. Remember, the word simple means interest conversion period per year, CY, equal to payment per year, PY, number of payments per year. That means simple. And then we also compute the general annuities. Remember, general means interest conversion period per year not equal to number of payments per year. And we are going to calculate the final payments and calculate periodic interest rate. And we are going to calculate periodic payments, PMT, and create statement for different types of residential mortgages. Please feel free to ask questions during my lecture. Okay. So what is amortization? Amortization refers to the repayment of the debt by a series of payments, usually in equal size, made at equal intervals. And the periodic payments, when equal in size, form an annuity. So this chapter is about the application of annuity in residential mortgage. So in annuity, the present value, PV, is the loan. PV is the amount of loan, not including your down payment. So every month, when you borrowed a loan, you make a payment. That payment includes both principal and interest. For example, if every month you make 1,000 payment for your mortgage, this 1,000 payment maybe have 700 pays to principal, 300 pays to interest. So there are two components in your every month payment. Okay. Although every month you make 1,000 payment, but each month how much paid to principal, how much paid to interest are different. Okay. So for example, the first month when you make 1,000 payment, maybe 700 goes to principal, 300 goes to interest. The next month, you make the same 1,000 payment. This time, maybe $720 goes to principal, $280 goes to interest. As you can see, each month, the principal component and interest component are different. As time goes on, the principal components increased, the interest decreased. Okay, so we are going to do detailed calculation each month, exactly how much contribute to principal, how much contribute to the interest. Okay. So if the debts paid at the end of the payment interval, we are going to use ordinary simple annuities. So remember, what does the keyword ordinary mean? Ordinary means payment is made at the end. Simple means number of converting period per year, CY, equal to number of payment per year. Oops. See, we are constantly review what we have learned so far. Okay. Rounding problem. Some students always ask questions. Do I round to nearest tens or do I round to nearest dollars? What are the general rules for rounding? Okay, so in our textbook, the payment is rounded to the nearest cent. Okay, to the nearest cent means 2 decimal places. 2 decimal places. Because each time you round to the nearest cent, the rounding, because of this rounding, an error will eventually occur because it is accumulated maybe after 20 years. And this error is taken into account by adjusting the final payment. Okay, so because of this reason, the final payment usually is different from other payments. Other payments have equal payment. For example, each month you make 1,000 payment, but last month you may make $998 payment, or you may make $1,010 payment for the last month. This is because the error occurred. Okay. So how do we calculate the periodic payment? We are going to use ordinary simple annuity formula. Ordinary simple annuity, remember that is our chapter 11 content. Okay. Ordinary means is end. Simple means CY equal to PY. Okay. I heard questions. I'm going to check the question. Can we use the calculator? Yes, we are going to introduce calculator. Right now, it is just concept. Okay, introduce the topic, discuss the concept. Okay. The present value of the original loan. This is the present value of original loan. Okay. Equal to PMT times this bracket. I is periodic interest, N is the term. So based on this formula, okay, and we know we can figure out the PMT. Okay. For example, let's take into this example. A debt of 10,000 with interest 6.5% compounded annually is to be repaid by equal payments at the end of each year for 5 years. What is the size of annual payment? What is the size of annual payment? This is actually the review. We can do this example in chapter 11. Okay. The question asks you, what is the PMT? What is the PMT? Okay. So now we can use a calculator. Okay. So I'm going to pull out my calculator. Try to find my calculator. Where is my calculator? So we are going to do this using both methods. One, calculator. The second method, formula. Okay. Where is my calculator again? Try to manage multiple windows. So for this one, it is a end mode. So make sure your calculator is at the end. Always start with second quit, and then make sure it is end, and then set PY. Every year you make one payment, PY equal to 1, enter. Down arrow key, CY, interest is compounded annually, so CY is also 1. Second quit, 10,000 is the present value, PV, and interest is 6.5. Five is N. Do not forget 0 is FV. And then you compute PMT. So each month or each year you are going to pay $2,406. So this is the calculator method. And if you use formula, remember PV, plug in PV formula. This is PV. PV equal to PMT times this bracket. And you plug in related number, I periodic interest. When you use formula, I has percentage sign. When you use calculator, I is 6.5. Okay, and this number agree with our calculator method. So this is a typical example of when you borrow the money, how much you are going to pay for each year or each month. Okay, and we introduce the calculator steps. So now we are going to do questions about amortization of loans. Please be advised that the examples presented in this lecture will mirror the questions you are going to do on MyLab. So make sure you are very comfortable and confident with the examples presented with the lecture. Then you do questions in MyLab. Okay. When you do examples, go over the examples from lecture or from examples in the textbook. Treat those examples as exercise without looking at the answer. Can you figure out each question? For example, if I throw this question at you, can you solve it without looking at the solution? If yes, and then you do next examples until you solve all the examples very fluently. Then you do the MyLab questions. Okay. Although I gave you several attempts for MyLab, but I strongly suggest you make sure you do examples before you do MyLab question. So this is the example I'm going to do now. A loan of 15,000 made at 6% compounded monthly is amortized over 4 years by making equal monthly payments. What is the size of monthly payment? So what is the PMT? What is the total amount paid to amortize the loan? And what is the cost of financing? Okay, so this is the question. So this loan is obviously the present value. 6% is interest RUY. Compounded monthly means CY equal to 12. Over the next 4 years, N equal to 4 years multiplied by 12, 48. Equal monthly payment means PY equal to 12. Okay. And once you figure out this, you can use a calculator. Okay. And if you ask, hey, how do I know the payment is made at the beginning or made at the end? For this question, remember in the previous lecture we said this is usually based on at the end unless specified otherwise. Okay. Just pull out my calculator here. So I will start with second quit. And make sure it is at the end mode. And then set PY, quick second PY 12, enter, down arrow key, CY also 12, enter, second quit. Now enter 15,000. That is your PV. 6 IY 48 term N. Okay. And 0 FV. Then you compute PMT $352.28. Okay, so that is the size of monthly payment. And for the second question, what is the total amount paid to amortize the loan. So you use PMT. Every month you make PMT. Okay, PMT multiply 48. That is the answer. PMT multiply 48. So this number multiply 48. It is this number. Okay. So that is the, you have to interpret this is positive when you answer the question. Last question, what is the cost of financing? So you use the answer from question 2. You use the answer from question 2 minus the original loan, that is the cost for finance. So this is the calculator method, and here I also give you the formula method. Okay, so interest is compounded monthly. You have to use 6% divided by 12 when you use the formula. Okay, and you plug in the number, you figure out PMT is this number. And then I already introduced calculator method. Total amount paid, use 48 times monthly payment. The cost of financing, answer 2 minus original loan. Okay. So now we are going to do example of calculating the interest, principal, and balance for a period. Do this example. To buy a compact car, J borrowed 25,000 on a loan that charged 7% compounded monthly. He agreed to make monthly payments for 4 years, and then ask you many questions. So let's analyze the given number first. So this number is present value. The loan is the present value. Interest compounded monthly, CY equal to 12. This 7 obviously is the interest, IY. Monthly payment. Monthly payment means PY equal to 12. For 4 years means N equal to 4 times 12. 4 years times 12. N equal to 48. So question 1, what is the size of monthly payment? Calculator. Second, quit. Make sure it is at the end mode. If nothing happened, if didn't say end, didn't say begin, consider it is end. Then second, PY is 12. Down arrow, okay, CY is 12, correct. Second, quit. So enter 25,000. That is present value. 7 is interest, IY. 48, term N. 0, FV. Compute, PMT. So this is your answer for question 1. Okay. This is the regular question. Okay. Now, question 2. Question 2. For the first payment, how much of the payment is the interest? Remember, each payment have two components, principal components and interest components. So how much is the interest? So we figure out this PMT. This is the question 2. For the first payment, how much is the interest? Interest is the original loan amount times interest rate. And how do you get 0.0058? You use 7% divided by 12. So this number is the result of 7% divided 12. Okay. And the result of this calculation, 145.83. Okay. So when you make the payment, remember the answer from question 1, $598.66. This number has two components. One component is the interest. How much? 145.83. Okay, this is the interest component. So this is question 2. And question 3 asks you for the first payment, the amount of principal. Principal is monthly payment minus interest portion, that is the principal. Remember, every month you make a payment. That payment has two components. One is principal, the other is interest. So this is the formula. Principal repaid equal to PMT minus interest. Minus interest. Interest portion, not interest rate. Okay. So the answer for principal is $452. This is the third question. And the next question, after the first payment, the amount of loan that remains to be paid is how much? After you make first payment, what is the amount of loan that remains? So after first payment, the amount of loan remains is original loan minus principal portion of the amount you paid for the first payment. Just the principal portion. So that is the amount of the loan that remains. And the next question, what is the portion of the second payment? What is the interest for the second payment? The second payment, interest on the second payment equal to the outstanding loan from previous question. The outstanding loan times interest. Interest is 7% divided by 12. 7% divided by 12, that is the interest. Okay. So the answer for the interest, $143.90 for the second payment. Now, if you compare the interest for the second payment, $143, with the interest for the fourth payment, $145.83. What did you find? Did you find the interest is decreasing from $145 to $143? As time goes by, interest is decreasing. In this example, it changed from 145 to 143. 143 here. Okay. So this is the interest for the second period. And the next question for the, For the second payment, what is the principal? Principal always equal to monthly payment, PMT, minus interest. That is the principal paid. So the principal paid is $455 for the second payment. Now, if you compare the principal paid for second payment with principal paid for the fourth payment. So principal paid for the fourth payment is this one, $452. You found the principal paid for the second payment increased from $452 to $455. Principal portion increased. Okay. So this is a second payment principal. Next question. After the second payment, the amount of loan that remains to be repaid is how much? So you use the balance. You use this number we get minus the principal portion of the second payment. And how do we get this first number, 24,547? How do we get this none? It is here. We get the number here. This is the balance after the first payment. Balance after the first payment. Okay. So we did this question. Now go back. I will use this example to illustrate some study method. Okay. So if after this lecture, I give you exactly the same question. Can you figure out each question? If not, that is normal. Do not be afraid. So what do you do if you cannot figure out question 1, question 2, question 3? You look at the solution here. Those are the solutions, see? So after looking at the solution, go back to the question. Without looking at the question, can you figure out all the questions? If yes, that's great. If no, you need to go over the solution again, second time, third time. So for each week, you need to spend about 10 hours for the average so that you can confident and comfortable with the course content. Do not jump onto the MyLab questions. MyLab questions are based on lecture examples. Make sure you fully understand, you deeply understand, you completely understand the examples before you tackle any exercise. Okay. So this is this example. Oh, the questions asked here are the typical questions for chapter 14. What is the principal component? What is the interest component? How much outstanding loan remained? Okay. This is this question. So based on the example we just created, we can give you a detailed amortization table. Okay, detailed amortization table specify how much paid goes to principal, how much paid goes to interest, and what is the outstanding loan. Okay. So we are going to give you this table, or you need to construct this table refer to amortization table. In this table, you need to specify the payment number. Remember, for the example, we have interest rate 7% divided by 12 equal to 0.00583. And we have the outstanding, the original loan is the present value, PV, 25,000. And then we ask you question 1, what is monthly payment? It is this amount. After this question, we ask you, what is the interest for the first payment? So remember, how do you get 145? How do you get 145? You use 25,000 times 0.0053, you get 145. So this number, you use 25,000 multiply I interest, you get 145.83. And then how do you get 452? 452 represent the principal repaid. How do you get this number? You use monthly payment, PMT. Monthly payment, PMT, minus the interest paid, 145.83. And this number is PMT 598. Okay. So you get this principal repaid. And then how do you get outstanding balance after the first payment? This number here. This number is the difference between original loan, 25,000, minus the principal portion in the first payment, 452.83 or 82. Okay. So you repeat yourself. For the second payment, the second payment still PMT. But how much is the interest? How do you get this number? You use, so this 43, I'm going to make a notation here. How do you get this 143? 143 is the result of the outstanding payment, $24,547.18. This one times I, interest, 0.00583. You get the interest portion. Okay. And then how do you get this 455? 255, you use monthly payment 598.66 minus interest portion 143.19, and you get 455. Okay, and then how do you get 24,000? How do you get this number? This number, you use 24,547.18 minus the principal paid 455.46. Okay. And then you repeat yourself for all the payments. This is your amortization table. From this table, as you can see, as time goes on, the principal paid increased. Principal paid increased. And the interest paid decreased. The first month, when you make payment, 145 goes to interest. The last month, when you make payment, just $3.47 goes to interest. The principal, the first month, when you make payment, $452 goes to principal. Last month, $591 goes to principal. Okay. As you can see, the last payment, this number is different from PMT because of rounding. Each time we round off to the nearest cents. So this number would be different from the PMT. So this is the amortization table. Any questions? I'm going to stop recording, and then we are going to take a break. After break, we continue. Okay. So where's my button?